Welcome to the first of three guides to resources to African American research in Springfield that are available online. This guide focuses on the work of Springfield historian Richard Hart. The Abraham Lincoln Association recently made available digital copies of many of the books written by Springfield historian Richard Hart. Most of these titles, published as part of the Spring Creek series, focus on different topics about Springfield during the time that Abraham Lincoln lived here. One of these topics is the African American community of Springfield. Hart has written 5 books about this subject. The first book is a small 24-page publication called The Spirit of Springfield's Early African Americans. This booklet was published from a speech that Mr. Hart gave to the Sangamon County Historical Society on May 21, 2002. The theme of his speech was to relate 5 examples of the spirit and activism of the early African American citizens of Springfield before the Civil War. He presents each of these examples as stories. The first story is of Springfield African Americans' colorful annual celebrations of the English emancipation of 800,000 slaves in the West Indies. The second story focuses on the life of Samuel S. Ball, a barber who traveled to the country of Liberia to see the conditions there for himself. Ball was involved in efforts to colonize African Americans from the United States to Liberia. The resistance of some African American residents to the colonization effort is the focus of the third story. The development of African American schools is the fourth story, and the story of former Springfield slave called Nancy and her efforts to become free make up the fifth story. The second of Hart's publications is another small publication called Lincoln Springfield, the Underground Railroad. This book was published in 2006. In this work, Mr. Hart has assembled together the various pieces of information that are known about the activities of the Underground Railroad in Springfield and Sangamon County. He has divided the book into 3 sections. The first section looks at the activities of the railroad in the Farmington community of Sangamon County. The second examines the role of the Second Presbyterian Church in the railroad. The last section looks at African American conductors, Jameson Jenkins, William K. Donegan, Reverend Henry Brown, and Aaron Dyer. Lincoln Springfield, the early African American population of Springfield, 1818 to 1861, is the third book written by Mr. Hart. Hart has compiled a wonderful resource filled with information about the city's African American residents. He combed through a variety of records, including newspapers, court records, city directories, vital records, and genealogical resources. The first part of the book is a well-noted and indexed chronological listing of his findings related to the lives of these residents. The rest of the book is a variety of useful appendices and bibliographies. In his fourth book, called The Colored Section, Oak Ridge Cemetery, published in 2009, Mr. Hart shifted his research to a small area of Oak Ridge Cemetery called the Colored Section. He attempted to learn what he could of the 117 grave markers located in this section and include information he found out about the occupants of those graves. He notes in his introduction that, quote, "Many of those buried here play significant roles in Springfield's history, and their stories are important in understanding the Springfield Lincoln knew," unquote. The book is organized to go row by row in the section to discuss the individuals buried there. The final book of Mr. Hart's is called Lincoln Springfield, Jameson Jenkins, and James Blanks, African American Neighbors of Abraham Lincoln. In this book, Mr. Hart expands on the life of Jameson Jenkins from what he had written about him in his first books. Hart provides a chronological examination of Jenkins from his beginnings in North Carolina, movement to Indiana, and finally to Springfield. James Blanks, who was a brother-in-law to Jenkins through his wife, is also examined. Jenkins was notable for his role in the Underground Railroad, and Blanks for his support of schools for colored children. The men and their families lived in the same neighborhood as Abraham Lincoln. Hart also looks at the life of their mutual mother-in-law, Jane Pelham. I hope that you have found this brief description of Mr. Hart's books related to the lives of African Americans in Springfield useful. If you have any questions, please please contact me, Curtis Mann, at 753-4900 extension 5632, or my email, curtis.mann@lincolnlibrary.info. Thank you.